and I'm home by 5 and I don't do anything. So I went out to that, and there was no place to park. I got in the I got in the bar, and I couldn't even fit through the door. There's just people everywhere, and it was fun. It was fun to play with Anj. It was fun to play with, you and Ron. I think it was, I heard from some people it was the tightest we ever sounded.
Which makes me laugh.
It's like, no, we should not play anymore, and then we'll just play a show.
Yeah. It was a little bit hard to communicate when you got Godzilla's drum kit in the middle of us, too.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's not like he fits on like I don't know. I think they need a bigger drum riser over there at 12 North, but or just make some extensions because this guy has a lot of cymbals.
Well, he's also 6'10".
I don't know if I believe that. I think he's probably 7 foot or more.
You think so?
I think he says 6'10", so people back off him or something. He doesn't want people to be like, "Oh, you're a basketball player" or something.
Yeah, he gets a lot of that.
He gets mad.
He does get mad. I can't blame him too. Imagine that. Everybody's staring at you all the time like that.
Yeah, people. It's like people look at me and they're like, "Oh, you're the Amish umpire or something like that."
Ezekiel Ossowski.
Ezekiel Jebediah Standish.
Hey, you know what I want to make mention too? Great job on that Mo video that you came out with the other day on Mohawk Valley Pictures.
Oh yeah, that was we did the first night, and then I actually had Rich and Erica help me out shooting the New Year's Eve, and I was up at 5 a.m. this morning, and shout out to Katie Giacovelli. She helped edit some of the video. She edited the first half, and then I came in this morning, and I was editing till probably 5 a.m. till 1 o'clock today, and we got the first show done. It looks awesome.
The whole first show? The first night of Mo?
The first night, yep. I also have, I think it's the third set of the second night because I had to go downtown and shoot for Bank of Utica for all the festivity down there. And there was, they wanted some drone shots with the fireworks. And so I was down there most of the night. And then I ran up to the Stanley and finished off the night there. And I've never really seen Mo from the front of the stage. I've worked a bunch of their shows from backstage, and it's a pretty awesome show. It's like the light show's amazing. I mean, these guys just, they just jam out. They got, Al, and he's got these licks, and I'm just like watching them.
Yeah.
So
definitely great production with the lights, and Preston came in and did his light show. Amazing night in Utica. I mean, you mentioned the Bank of Utica too doing their thing, and they've had hundreds and almost thousands of people down on the street in front of the Bank of Utica that night.
That was wild because I got there they told me to be there from 7 until after the fireworks, and I got there at 7. There was, the swearing in, the mayor, a couple common council people, and then there was like nobody down there, and I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. And then about 9:30, 10 o'clock, when the Comets game got out, the place got packed.
Yeah,
it was like I've got the shots looking down. It's just a mob of people from like I don't know the Delta all the way up to the Triangle. It was pretty cool. I did not know how that was going to work out, and
same here.
I think they should do it again. But if it's going to be like below 0 next year or a blizzard, maybe start a little later. But 5 hours is a long time to be out in the cold.
yeah. But hopefully, it's starting a new tradition for New Year's in Utica.
Mm-hmm.
With that going on, and then the Mo show, and there was a bunch of people at the Mo show. Utica was on fire, as the kids would say. It was lit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what there really was going on for New Year's for all these years in Utica. Like, what did people do?
Right? Did
they just watch TV? And I think Varick Street used to have some people, but there was no like big event, and that was a big event. They had I guess there were some other things going on around town too that people were telling me about, but I couldn't get there because I'm only one guy.
Right, and it's a lot going on. There was other Roaring 20 parties going on at the Hotel Utica and all over the place, and some good stuff happening all around town. It's just making Utica vibrant, man. Like this whole vibe in Utica that's going on right now. It's really unprecedented.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe in getting excited. I think that excitement and anxiety are the same thing. It's just being aroused. But I could definitely say there's a lot of there's a lot of work happening in Utica because all these things that everyone's having fun at, there's people that work to put these things together, and these people are busy.
Yeah, and they had that great team putting that Bank of Utica thing together, I know. So big ups to them for putting that together, and hopefully we have a new tradition each and every year. And man, some really good things happening, though. 2020, did you ever even fathom 2020 as a kid?
2020. I mean, I thought we'd have a flying car by now, but all we got is maybe a Cybertruck.
It's funny you say that because yesterday I was watching Terminator came on TV. Just yesterday, and I was just laying on the couch.
Terminator 2?
No, Terminator 1.
Oh, the first.
And in the beginning, it says United States 2029. And I'm thinking, I'm like, that's only 9 years away from where we are right now.
Right.
And there's no flying cars or any of that coming down.
No, there's, but Terminator, I think that, I don't like to call it artificial intelligence. I think it's more like machine learning. I don't think the machines are coming to take us out violently. I think that they're taking us out mentally. It's like everybody's on their devices all the time, and it's like now these algorithms are picking up what your interests are, and it's like they're selling your data, and now, I don't know. It seems like the economy is through the roof, and there's kind of a reason for that. It's like there's just some kind of, everybody, anytime you go on a website, it's like your information is somewhere. I just like to know if there's a company that's going to come out that's going to let us buy our information back.
Interesting. But do you feel? I feel like the machines are totally sucking our souls away too. You say mentally, but I think spiritually too.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple occasions where I've been working, like at the Stanley, for example, and I'm up in the grid rigging, and there's like my phone dies, and I'm stuck up there for 5 hours, and I notice that when my phone is off, I'm just kind of like, I'm starting to come up with ideas, like original ideas. And that's why, like, I've been doing this thing every year where I just drive around the country for like 2 weeks, go out and see, just see what we have here. And when I don't know, to me, that's like my church. It's like when you go to, a national park or something like that, and you're in these zones where there's no internet, there's no Wi-Fi or anything like that. And it's like, you're back in like nature, and I don't know, I think you feel like you can think again. You feel like you have control of your own mind again. I mean, I think people take drugs because they don't want to have control of their minds, but I mean, even if you don't take drugs, you're still losing your mind.
Right. And plus it recharges your soul a little bit, recharges your creative batteries, being out in nature, being one with nature.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of balancing all your chakras. That's what it does to me, being out in nature. I love going out and camping or go fishing or something like that.
Right.
It's getting away from your devices and getting away from society and technology. It really helps your mind spiritually, too.
Yeah. I even feel kind of heavier when I'm in Utica sometimes.
I know what you mean.
Because I'm like working all the time, and there's just a lot of pressure, and I don't know, maybe that pressure makes you feel heavier, but once I go out on a trip or something like that, or I go, climb a mountain or something, it's like it feels like inflammation in your joints goes away. It feels like you're able to move around again. And I see like a lot of old people right now, and they lose their mobility, and that to me is scary. It's like I have to be able to wake up in the morning and put my socks on standing up. I can't fall over and break my shoulder when I'm 80. So I have to keep on going out and moving. Just keep on moving.
Yeah, stay limber.
Yeah.
It's important to exercise too. I know you exercise a lot.
Yeah, I don't really do it I go, shout out to Brian, Matt, and Alyssa Devins down at Upstate Empire Fitness. I've been going there since I was 18 when they were Powerhouse, and it was just a habit I got into. I started doing it when I was like 14, 15 years old, and it's like one of those things where it's like you can kind of feel when you fall off the horse, and you're just like, all right, I got to get back on it. I got to get in shape somewhat. It's like when I was playing the show at 12 North, I felt kind of winded. I was like, oh no, It's like, this is the reason I quit smoking 10 years ago. Now I got to do more cardio. So you always figure out what you got to do more of when you go out and push yourself.
Do you have a regular routine for your exercise? Like, one day you're doing chest, next day, is that your...
Yeah, there's always like the 3-day week, the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's like, chest, shoulders, tries Monday, back and buys Wednesday, and then legs and core on Friday. Mm-hmm. And then I started doing some like cardio in between, like a half hour on the machine on the in-between days. And that seems to help. There's actually a guy around here that sells supplements. His name's like Joe Coco. He owns a company called Market Health. And I don't know, I've taken like every supplement known to man, and I took this guy's stuff, and it's like, when you're on it, you feel like younger.
Really?
Yeah, he has something, it's called like humic and fulvic acid. And apparently this is like, years ago the world was underwater, and then like there's like this tar that gets stuck in the top of the mountains and stuff like that. And that tar is basically broke down organic material over millions of years, and it has like every trace mineral on this planet. And you take it, and it's like, that's the problem right now. It's like we don't have minerals in our diets. That's why a lot of people are getting weaker. Their bones are more frail. They're more stressed out. I think that back in the day, they used to, you burn wood to stay warm, and then you take the ashes from the wood, which are full of minerals, because the minerals don't burn. You put them in your garden, and then you grow your plants. And then your plants would have much more minerals in. They're better for you. And now it's, I'm sure everybody's listening to this.
Wait, what kind of minerals are in burnt wood?
What kind of minerals are in wood?
In burnt wood. Like the ashes in burnt wood.
Well, like I said, the minerals don't burn, because minerals are basically rocks.
Okay.
So if you take a piece of wood and you burn it, there's probably like, there's probably magnesium in there, phosphorus. Every plant needs phosphorus, nitrogen, potassium to grow. And so, and
oxygen,
water, all that stuff. But mainly those three components. And I think the way we've been farming, we're probably going to run out of one of them soon. So, but
I feel like we're running out of a lot of minerals and materials out there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like stuff going on. I mean, Australia's on fire. It's we haven't had much of a winter here. I think it snowed bad for a couple days, but
one day.
These aren't the winters I grew up with.
Right. I feel horrible for the people in Australia right now. And we're totally ignoring it here in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're more worried about what's going on overseas and the impeachment and all this other shit. But we don't give a shit about Australia, who's pretty much the whole continent is going to burn up.
Yeah, Australia is... I saw a couple like NASA maps of it, and it's pretty crazy because it's a small continent. I mean... My wife has friends that live there. I have no idea what's going on with them because, the whole country's just on fire. And it's like, how do you put that out? Mm-hmm. I think that...
how does it start, first of all?
Well, I think that, like when I drove out to California last year, I saw all these, forests that were burned down, and it was pretty crazy. And it's like, they're trying to stop the fires there. And then when I drive through Kansas, they literally set their fields on fire on purpose.
They do? Why?
Because they need the minerals. And so
with the minerals again.
But I think what happens is that things grow too much, and then they have to be burned, and then it's almost like a natural process. So when everything burns, the minerals go back into the soil, and then it's like a rebirth. Like you see, like where these forests burned in California, we drove by a couple that burned a couple years ago, and you see there's already new stuff that's growing up. And so maybe the trees get too big and they got to come down and start all over. Who knows?
You think global warming has climate change and all that has something to do with this too?
Yeah, I mean, I think that climate change is, I don't know how much control we have of it. Like, I think that, it's definitely bad to pollute, but I think that the that the sun that gives us heat and everything is probably in control of how hot this planet's going to get. But I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of things going on. I mean, there's a big
we could stop pumping a lot of CO2 into the world too, into the atmosphere.
Yeah, and CO2 is just plant food anyway. It's like the plants breathe in the CO2, we breathe in the oxygen, and then we both breathe out, the other way around. So, I don't know. Some people think that, if we plant millions of trees, it'll fix things. The problem is that in these deserts, there's no, you can plant trees. They tried doing this in the Middle East, and there's just you'll see out in the desert, there's just rows and rows of dead trees. They tried this experiment. It didn't work. So they have to...
Not enough water?
No, there's not enough water. And so there's actually another, I think it's called holistic farming or something, where they take livestock, and then the livestock, they basically... The thing is you need animals to drink the water, and then they move, and then they go to the bathroom, and they basically move the water from one place to another with the fertilizer. And then that's how these places keep from becoming deserts. There's actually a documentary on YouTube called Green Gold, where they show these places in Africa where it's a desert. They bring livestock in, and after a year, it's it goes from a desert to a rainforest. It's pretty crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it's just from using animals.
Green Gold?
Oh, Green Gold.
I'll have to check it out. It's on Netflix. Still up on Netflix today.
It's not even it's on YouTube.
YouTube, rather, yeah.
It's directed by this Asian guy. His name's John D. Liu. But yeah, I think that anybody worried about climate change or anything needs to see this Green Gold documentary.
Yeah, dude, like you even mentioned too, we're not getting the winters we used to get. We used to get 5 feet of snow, 6 feet of snow. Even in Florida's freezing right now. Not freezing, but it's cold to them.
Yeah.
Where it's very unseasonably cold down in Florida right now.
Yeah.
Where here it's very unseasonably warm.
Plus the seasons don't really transition anymore. They kind of it's hot and then it's cold. And
yeah. I feel like here in upstate we just have two seasons. It's either winter or summer. That's it.
Yeah, and that's characteristic of a desert, because in the desert, in the daytime, it's really, really hot, and then at night, it's really, really cold, because that means there's nothing regulating the temperature. So, I don't know. I mean, we live in a swampland up here.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that'll regulate it somewhat better, but yeah, it just seems like the weather is. I don't know. I was watching this movie, Wayne's World. You remember Wayne's World or Wayne's World 2? And they have the concert, and they're going out, and they're they're walking around. There's a big crowd of people. It's an outdoor concert. Outdoor concerts seem cool. They were comfortable to go to. Now it's an outdoor concert seems like a sweltering hellhole.
Coming from the guy that's backstage all the time.
Right.
When's the last time you actually been inside a concert to enjoy a concert?
Oof. The last time, I think it was probably when we all went to that Hellfest.
See, and that was 10 years ago.
That was a long time. I think we saw I think it was Motorhead.
So it's a different perspective for you now.
Yeah,
because you're behind the scenes.
Yeah, because I'm always backstage. I see what's going on, and I don't know. I like extreme music, and there's not a lot of extreme music that comes around here, so you got to go out somewhere else and hopefully run into some heavy metal bands that are just wow, I have no idea what they're doing, but that sounds awesome.
Wait, who do you listen to these days?
I've been listening to Periphery. There's a band called Scar Symmetry. Obviously Slayer, since they're supposedly finished, but I think that they're probably just finished for now until their wives need money, and then they'll go back on tour again. Mm-hmm. Who else? I've been listening to a lot of liquid metal on the Sirius XM, so they got a lot of new stuff that I think there's I just started getting into Mastodon.
That's because you're hanging out with Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas is into that stuff. I was always into In Flames, Soilwork, all the Scandinavian stuff, but There's a couple good American bands. There's even like Sepultura or Cavalera Conspiracy. Like his stuff's awesome. But and I'm also who else is there? I don't know. I listen to a lot of guitar players too because I'm trying to get my chops back up. Try to see. Honestly, metal guitar players nowadays are like way beyond what we had back in like 10 years ago.
Right.
These guys are just like I have no idea. They're like sweep arpeggioing all over the place. They're like, playing all over the neck. They have these new guitars with like 8-9 strings. The frets are fanned out and everything. It's wild.
Yeah, it's amazing where it's come, and it's going to continue to evolve too.
Yeah,
there's some monsters out there that are playing, and it's just going to go in a whole nother direction because technology changes and gear changes. And
oh yeah,
it's amazing in how far technology has changed the music industry. I mean, not just with the internet, but even with the instruments too.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy. One thing you brought up too, and I can't stand anymore. You talked about Slayer and like having it being their final farewell tour. I'm so sick of these bands that will say, "Oh, this is it, we're done," but then they still tour for like 3-4 more years afterwards. That drives me freaking crazy. Like, look at Motley Crue. Motley Crue made this big, huge announcement that they're done. This is the farewell tour. We're all done. We're never going to do it again. Mm-hmm. Here it is. They do the movie. Like, they're done. And then all of a sudden they're coming out doing a stadium tour with Poison and Def Leppard.
Did you see that picture of him looking like the abominable snowman, Vince Neil?
I heard too. Vince Neil has to go to like fat camp for them to do this tour.
Yeah, I saw that Motley Crue movie on Netflix, and I think if Netflix is making a documentary about it wasn't even a documentary. It was like a after school special.
Exactly what it was.
On your band. I think if they're paying for that, you should probably retire.
Yeah, I did, and that's the other thing too. A lot of these bands are making these movies. How come they just can't stick to the story? Why do they have to over Hollywood it? Like same thing with the Elton John movie. Like a lot of the timeline was all off. Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody timeline's all off. Some of the shit that didn't even really happen, but they throw it in the movie anyways. Stick to the story. Like Motley Crue, The Dirt, such a great book. Yeah. Have you ever read the book?
No.
Oh, that book is phenomenal.
Really?
The debauchery that band did throughout the world is legendary. But they didn't even stick to the story in the movie at all. And there were so many great stories from that book they could have brought to the movie, and they didn't because Hollywood, of course, they get final cut, and so they put their final touches on it, and it turns into, like you said, an after-school special.
It felt a little over-dramatized. It was like I haven't seen the Elton John movie. I did see that actor won Best Actor at the Golden Globes yesterday. I don't know what's up with that because that guy Rami Malek won for playing Freddie Mercury last year. So it's like if you just play a rock star now, you're going to get an Oscar.
Lately.
And then, I don't know, I didn't like the Golden Globes because I saw all the movies that were nominated that were on Netflix, and those movies were really good. They all should have, they were all really good, and they nominated the movie that was just getting released into the theaters. And I think that this is something where they're trying to knock Netflix out. They don't want Netflix to be winning anything because they think that people should still go to movie theaters to see movies, which, I mean, is more of a traditional, way of thinking, I guess. But I don't know. If you want to see a movie, you should be able to see it any way that you can.
You being a filmmaker, is there any movies these days that are blowing your head away? Is there anything that just blows your mind?
I saw that movie, The Two Popes. I mean, I'm not really a religious person at all, but that was a pretty good movie. Like, I grew up Catholic and stuff like that, and it had, it was really good about, Pope Benedict and then Pope Francis. Pope Benedict was this guy who got elected in, and he was completely disconnected from humanity, it seems. He thought things were funny that no one would think is funny. He was like into music that no one had any idea what it was. And this other guy Francis was like, this guy from Argentina, and he was connected to everybody, and he watched sports, and he was like somebody that everybody could relate to. and it was really interesting about like how this one guy wanted to step down, and Francis didn't want to become the Pope because he felt bad because when he grew up there was like a revolution in his country, and they tried to basically kill him unless he betrayed some people. So I thought that was a great movie. There's actually like I don't know. I've been watching a lot of like comedy specials actually.
Have you?
There's
Like stand-up specials?
Yeah. There's one guy, Ronnie Cheng. He's like a Chinese, I believe, comedian.
Yeah, wasn't he in the Rich Asians?
Was he?
Was he in that movie?
No, I never saw that movie.
Filthy Rich Asians or something like
Yeah,
that?
Filthy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
He's his comedy show's hilarious. I think he was the show's produced by Bill Burr, and Bill Burr is like one of my favorites.
Me too.
He's just a complete psycho, and this guy's pretty much like the Asian version of Bill Burr.
You like Bill Burr in Mandalorian? Have you been watching any of the Mandalorian?
No. I haven't watched it just because I'm against everything Disney.
I gotcha.
Of
course you are.
They basically try to take the monopoly on storytelling, and I'm like, screw that. But
Bill Burr.
But they do have Werner Herzog in The Mandalorian, which I want to see it.
And Bill Burr.
Yeah, and Bill Burr, and like a Baby Yoda I hear about. So, who else is in that? There's some other actors in that.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, no, I mean, not Lawrence Fishburne. The other guy. Apollo Creed. Carl Weathers, thank you.
I'll probably watch it eventually, but I don't know. We do have Disney Plus, so I'll probably, bite the dust one day and do it.
Mm-hmm. Bill Burr is great, though. Going back to talking about him, F is for Family. Is that the other one he produced, too? Didn't he produce F is for Family on Netflix?
I don't know. I didn't see that one.
It's the cartoon. It's kind of like it's almost like Family Guy type of thing, but it takes place back in the 70s. And
right.
It's a pretty cool. They did a couple seasons. I'm pretty sure Bill Burr was all behind that one too.
I didn't even really know who he was until probably a couple of years ago, because I remember he was in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And then, I didn't know he was a comedian, and then I just like started watching all his stuff. I was like, this guy's hilarious. This guy is like a maniac. I like this guy.
What other comedians you into?
There's one that my wife likes, Ali Wong.
Yeah?
She's hilarious. We went to go see Joe Rogan in Toronto.
Did you really?
Yeah, that was like I think that was the first time I went out to go see something besides Slipknot and Hellfest. Before that was the first time we were in the that arena where the Raptors play.
Okay, so he's playing arenas.
Yeah, it was full too. I was surprised. It was the last show of his tour. That was the show that was on Netflix, but they recorded that show in Boston at the beginning of his tour. And so after the show we saw, that special came out. And so we got to see his show after he did it a bunch of times and got his shit together. And then he embellished a lot more stuff. So I think the show we saw is better than the one that they're showing on Netflix.
Right now, Rogan, I feel like he could just write his own ticket. He could do whatever he wants now. He's at that level.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't get corrupted, because I think he's got a good...
Yeah, you think he would get corrupted? I think if there's anybody out there that would stand against the man, or however you want to look at it, would be Rogan. Yeah, I think he's got a good thing going, because he's built up this audience, and he can say anything he wants, and he has nobody really, he can piss people off, and it's not going to, it doesn't bug him in the least. But it's like he kind of like looks at things with, I don't know, I have some vegan friends that hate him. I'm sure.
But he's I don't know, he's got like a good thing going on, because I see other podcasts, like other people that go on his show, they have their own podcasts, and I just get bored watching them.
Yeah.
But like when they're on his show, he's basically like, a dumb comedian, MMA guy who's like, interviewing like college professors or something.
But he's super intelligent. Yeah,
he brings these smart people into his show, and he brings them down to our level.
Yeah, right.
So it's like,
you're right. That's a good way of looking at it. Pat's saying movie theaters are greedy with prices these days. It is so true.
Yeah, I remember paying like $4 to go see a movie.
Right.
At the, I mean, I think I remember there was like $2 Tuesdays at the Uptown years ago.
Yep.
But yeah, now I haven't even seen a movie in a theater. The last time we went to go see the Avengers movie in IMAX because my stepson wanted to go see it, and I think we paid, it was like $15 a person.
Wow.
And that was, that was that IMAX in Syracuse. But I think even here at the Marquee, it's probably like, I don't know, $12 or $13 a person, and it's just, I mean, they put new seating in, which is kind of like, I guess it's more comfortable. You can pay $13 to take a nap now. But it's like
about what I do when I go to the theater.
Yeah, it's I don't buy any of the concessions. They're expensive. I know that's how the theaters are making their money. I think theaters just got to do something new. I think they got to bring live shows in to stay alive.
Yeah, and nowadays, too, the movie theaters got to compete with, like, movie taverns now. Now there's a whole thing where you can actually order dinner and drink beer, and you're in this big luxury seat, and you pay an extra couple bucks to eat and drink and watch a movie. And so it's a lot to compete with. And Pat's saying right now, I'll wait for my son to upload it to Plex, which I have Plex as well, and you can watch pretty much any freaking movie.
Really? What's Plex? I never heard of that.
Plex is I have it on the Fire Stick, and it keeps up to date on a lot of the TV shows and movies and whatnot, kind of the same streaming services. And I think that's another reason why a lot of these movie theaters are doing a lot of price gouging, is because they got to compete against all these streaming services.
Yeah. I think I saw yesterday there was a new one coming out, Peacock. It's like the NBC streaming service. I'm like, pretty soon we're going to be paying more to stream stuff than we were paying for cable before. I mean, I thought, streaming YouTube was like saving us money. Now it's like everybody's getting on this. It's like, oh, let's try to extract wealth here and extract, it's just like taking $5 from someone a month doesn't seem like much until you're taking it from like a billion people.
Exactly. And that's like YouTube Red, and what's the other streaming services that are out there? There's a bunch.
There's Hulu, there's Amazon Prime. Everybody has Amazon Prime now. There's like, Disney Plus was the big one. They're trying to compete with Netflix, but I think Netflix was on top of it before any of these guys even showed up.
They definitely started the trend.
The only thing about Netflix I don't like is I just spend most of my time on there just flipping through titles, and I can't decide what to watch. It's not like there's so much stuff I want to watch. There's actually nothing I want to watch. I'm not interested in any of this stuff. I want to, I don't know if it's the pictures that they're putting up for the movies or what, but Netflix is like a company that's pretty much, its backdoor is this artificial intelligence, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, maybe they just don't know how my brain works.
That's the problem I fall into with Netflix. You start scrolling. You're like, I seen that already. I already seen that. That doesn't interest me.
It just starts scrolling.
It's just nonsense of scrolling, kind of like being on Facebook, right? Same thing with Netflix.
Yeah, Facebook seems like you're just scrolling through. It's like you got a stack of mail on your kitchen table, and there's like a check in there, and it's like the check's actually not in there. So you're just looking through the stack, not finding it. I will say that YouTube, though, I watch stuff on there all the time. They have something going on, because anytime I watch a video, they'll go into like suggested stuff, and I never can't find anything to watch. They always kind of find stuff.
That's the one application, the one app that you can go down a rabbit hole all day long, and that's YouTube.
Oh yeah, YouTube.
Like suggested videos, and you another one and another one, another. Next thing you know, it's like 3-4 hours have passed by.
Yep, YouTube will take your life away.
It really will. Sucks your soul away. Michelle McSweeney checking in. She's saying hello, and she's like, "Tell them I snuck you guys in candy, Matt." So you used to sneak in some candy at the movie theaters.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Michelle and my wife and Max, we all went to go see that Mr. Rogers movie with Tom Hanks.
How was that?
It was okay. It wasn't what I was expecting. It was like it was about this one. The main character was this guy who was supposed to write a story about Fred Rogers for, I believe it was Esquire magazine or something, and he was kind of a I don't know, he was in a bad mood all the time. He was just having a bad life. And then he met Fred Rogers, and he expected to find some dirt on him, and he couldn't find anything. And Mr. Rogers ended up like changing this guy's life, and it was it was a pretty good movie. I think the best part of the Golden Globes yesterday was when Tom Hanks won his award, and he came up and he just basically talked about being a professional. He's like, show up on time, bring your ideas, memorize your lines. That's all you got to do. It's like you don't have to, make political statements or anything like that. It's just like just be good at what you do.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
That's my PSA for the day. Just stay in your lane. Sue Evans saying wasn't what I expected, but it was good as far as the Mr. Rogers things go. So Tom Hanks won a Golden Globe for being Fred Rogers?
No, it was some kind of award for, was it the Cecil B. DeMille Award or something? It's like one of those awards they give one person every year. Somebody who's it's like
lifetime achievement or whatever.
Yeah, a lifetime achievement award where, they showed all his movies, and I was like, I was like surprised. I was like, holy crap, this guy was in a lot of movies. He was in like The Love Boat. He was on freaking, all this stuff like Castaway, Saving Private Ryan, Forrest Gump, and he's still making stuff today.
Bosom Buddies.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember Bosom Buddies?
Yeah, they had that in there.
Did they really?
They threw everything in that little montage. It was pretty cool.
And then Splash. Remember Splash?
Splash he was with the mermaid.
Was that his big film that he broke in? Oh no, Bachelor Party. Remember Bachelor Party? I think Bachelor Party was before Splash.
Bachelor Party, yeah. I think when I was a kid, I remember there was Tom Hanks and Tom Cruise, and I always thought Tom Cruise would be like the more famous, powerful one. Turns out he was the Scientology nut. It was like Tom Hanks turned out to be like the true artist.
Back a couple years ago, Tom Hanks was in like some restaurant, and he took somebody's phone and was taking selfies. Did you ever see that?
No.
Somebody was passed out drunk in a bar or a restaurant, and Tom Hanks just so happened to be in that restaurant and grabbed his phone and just started taking pictures with the guy passed out and him in it. And like the guy woke up the next day and like had all these selfies with him passed out in it, and Tom Hanks was taking these pictures.
Really?
Of him. Yeah, it's pretty funny. This happened a bunch of years ago. Sue Evans is saying it was the Cecil B. DeMille Award.
Yeah, the Cecil B. DeMille Award.
DeMille Award? Yeah. Who's Cecil B. DeMille?
He was a director.
Gotcha.
He was back in the days when, Hollywood started. It was I read this book on Hollywood, California, or basically Los Angeles, and how it's a city that should not exist. And it's basically by the force of man, the city is now there. They had to divert water into the city. They basically, broke a lot of laws. It was this guy Mulholland, who was basically a professional ditch digger, and he figured out a way to divert water out of I can't remember what the valley was, but they moved into Los Angeles, and then there was just this it was like this nice Mediterranean climate. There was like not really anything to do, and so they started finding out it's like, oh, we can make movies here, and then they found out that they could sell tickets and make money, and then Cecil B. DeMille was one of the first like big directors that started capitalizing on this, because they could have the sets in L.A. and then they could just drive east and be in the desert somewhere and make like John Wayne movies.
What are some of your influences, filmmaking wise? Some of your heroes.
Well, my favorite movie of all time is Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood.
Is it?
So Clint Eastwood was big growing up. The Josie Wales and Dirty Harry, and
Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
Good, Bad, and the Ugly. All those movies. Even Gran Torino was awesome. There was, I think, I'm not a big James Cameron fan, but Terminator 2 was another one of my favorite movies growing up. And then, I don't know, I think that movies nowadays are way too CGI. There's not enough realism in it anymore. It's like, I can't.
True. It's all comic book movies now.
Yeah, comic book movies are like going to an amusement park. It's like, welcome to the amusement park. There's bright colors, loud noises, and all this stuff, and it's just like stimulation to the max. Mm-hmm. There's not really any room for you to figure things out in your own. I think there's a film company called A24 that's got a lot of good stuff out now. There's Jordan Peele's been making movies, and his stuff's actually really good. He had that one movie, Get Out, and then there's another movie.
I just recently seen some from him that was great too.
Yeah, he's coming up with good stuff. I think he's a good upcoming director. That's like, I'm gonna watch everything he does. Some people have been telling me to watch others. There's a movie called Midsummer, which is a horror movie that takes place in broad daylight because it takes place in like Scandinavia in midsummer, which is the time of year when it's sunlight 24 hours a day. So I got to check that out.
What did you think of the Joker?
I thought Joker was good. It was like a grimy movie. I loved De Niro in it. It was like Taxi Driver, the sequel to. It was basically the Taxi Driver sequel because it had De Niro in it. It had like the Notebook with all his stuff in it. It had like, he had like the gun in his house. He's like walking around without a shirt on like De Niro was in Taxi Driver, and he's like trying to do something professionally. The only thing is I hate Joaquin Phoenix.
Really?
Yeah, even when I saw him on the awards show, I can't stand that guy.
Why did he win an award last night?
He won for Joker.
Did he?
I think it was like Best Actor.
I think it was well deserved. I think he portrayed that role really well.
The thing is I don't think he's acting. I think that's just how he really is. He's like one of these guys. I mean, like I knew people like this guy growing up. They're like,
yeah,
they're brilliant, but they're also insane.
Yeah,
and it's like
we had a lot of those in Utica.
yeah. There's there's a lot of people that you can capture amazing stuff, but it's like at what cost?
Yeah, I think Joaquin Phoenix deserves that Golden Globe. I thought he was fantastic in that.
Oh yeah, I don't think you'll ever see another performance like that.
Like the whole realism of that movie. It brought you back to New York in the 1980s.
Yeah, there was.
Even though it's Gotham and it wasn't, but it felt like New York in 1980s.
Yeah, it felt like I remember going to New York in the 80s and it was like scary.
Right.
You'd see just like adult theaters everywhere, and it was like people are just yelling, and you smell like burning stuff everywhere in the wintertime.
Bums and homeless people all over the place.
Yep.
Yeah. Sue Evans is saying he's not your average movie star, Joaquin Phoenix.
No, he was. I still remember him from Gladiator. He was like Caesar.
I thought he was great as Johnny Cash.
The thing is I know people like the kind of person he was portraying. So it's like yes, he did a good job, but it's like it kind of gets on my nerves.
Yeah,
it's like one of those things because like I knew there was probably there was a singer I used to play in a band with a long time ago, kind of like that.
We won't mention any names.
Yeah,
John. Anyway, man. Back to the Joker though. I thought it would like the whole sense of realism and just the grittiness, like you said. It was just perfect film. I watched it a couple times. I was so. Films lately have not really made me that involved. Like sometimes you get involved with these movies and you're like, wow, that's such a great film. And you watch it 2 or 3 times. There's nothing that's really, really sparked my interest like the Joker did.
Right.
As of late.
Honestly, did you see The Irishman?
I did. I was going to bring that. That was my next one I was going to bring up.
I would say Scorsese is probably one of my biggest heroes. He's like, The Irishman was great. I mean, a lot of people didn't like it that much. It was a long movie, but I always like long movies. Like, I watched Lord of the Rings. I watched like Once Upon a Time in America and all this stuff. The Godfather movies. Those, even Goodfellas was a long movie. And those movies were, they're awesome. I mean, it's like you can't just sit down for a couple hours and have it done with. Plus the things that he was able to pull off technically with that movie where, he made him like younger. And I saw some of the camera setups where they would have like all these cameras set up on like De Niro or Pacino or something like that. And it's like, what camera am I supposed to look at? They're just like, don't look at the camera, just look over here. These guys are all confused because they're just like, we usually just have one camera, and now you guys have like a whole rig full of like 50 cameras. We don't know what we're looking at, but it was so they were able to like, I guess, 3D animate them or something like that. But I never knew that much about Jimmy Hoffa. I thought that was really cool. I didn't know Jimmy Hoffa was like this big union guy. He seemed like he seemed like a true blue guy. Like he was trying to do the right thing and everything, but he also got a little greedy with his power.
What'd you think of The Irishman? You liked it? 4 out of 5 stars. How many stars do you give it?
I give it 5 stars.
5 out of 5?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. I thought Joe Pesci should have got an Oscar for it.
Me too. I thought Pesci was phenomenal in it. There was a couple things you did mention, the aging thing.
Yeah.
Like there was that one scene where De Niro's beating up that guy, and he looked old beating him up. That was like my only gripe with that movie. That, and it was 3.5 hours long. It took me like 3 days to get through it.
Really? I watched it the night it came out in one night. I couldn't stop watching. I was like, this is like, it reminded me of like watching Goodfellas again.
Yeah, Max is checking in and he's saying The Irishman was good, but didn't look like they were actually younger people in his opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they're not young guys.
Right.
I mean, they
it's all CGI though, right? Isn't that how they do that effect? Like, how do they make De Niro, who's like 78 or however old he is, how do they make him look like he's 40 years old?
They do it with Star Wars. They brought Carrie Fisher back to life.
Is that CGI though?
Well, it's not her. It's not a stunt double. It's definitely CGI. I mean, there's like videos out now. Have you seen those fakening videos?
The what videos?
The fakening.
No.
They take they'll take Donald Trump's face and they'll put it on another actor, and it's like a video because they have this like software now that can basically, if somebody's on camera a lot, they take all these facial expressions and then they match them up to another actor's. And there's there's one with the intro to Full House, and it's like Ron Swanson's face on everybody. It's crazy. Pretty soon they're just gonna. I think they even have examples of how they have like President Obama giving speeches he never gave and stuff like that. It's CGI that like anyone can get their hands on at this point.
Face swapping, almost in that same principle as face swapping.
It's like face swapping. You gotta check those videos out. The fakening.
The fakening.
If you're on Instagram, like follow the fakening. They have one with like Joe Rogan where they put his face on a midget bodybuilder's body, and they're playing that song. The champ is here.
Did The Irishman get any Golden Globes last night?
Got nominated for a lot, but they didn't
win any.
I think they're just trying to shutter out Netflix because they don't want them to become the theater killer.
Which it will be. It already has. Mm-hmm. All of those streaming services have become the theater killer.
Right.
It has. And then, until there's a next wave of something, it's going to happen.
Well, plus a lot of movies. It seems like good movies only come out like when it's Oscar time. There's sometimes a unicorn that'll come out in the middle of the year, but it's like all the best movies come out like late December, early January. And these are just movies that are trying to win awards. In my opinion, I mean, I don't know. My stepson like follows Rotten Tomatoes a lot. He won't go see a movie unless it gets like a high rating on there.
Okay.
So unless it's a Star Wars movie, then he'll just watch it and hate it.
Oh man, the Star Wars nerds drive me crazy though. There are too many expectations. Everybody has expectations going into the film, and that's why you have so many letdowns. Did you see the last Star Wars? I haven't seen it.
No, I honestly haven't really even seen the original 3 Star Wars.
You're boycotting Disney though.
Yeah, I don't really care for Disney, but I haven't really seen the first 3 Star Wars in their entirety. Like I've seen parts of them here and there. Like obviously growing up in the 80s, you see them, but I've never been really into Star Wars. I don't know what the big deal is.
Not your thing.
No, it's cool. Like I thought. I always thought that Boba Fett was a cool character. Now they made the Mandalorian, so now it's like, oh, now he's got this character that these other people wanted to know more about. But I don't know. I'm not a fan yet.
Check out Mandalorian though. I love it. I
think
Mandalorian was really good. My favorite Star Wars. Well, I like Empire Strikes Back because I love that one. But Rogue One was one of my favorites. I thought that was very, very well done. I like the sense of realism in that one too.
Mm-hmm. Rogue One, yeah, I don't know.
And everybody dies in Rogue One. If I just spoiled that for everybody. But that's the other thing I like about it, because there's no real hero you could get attached to in Rogue One.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember there was that one. What the heck was that one with Darth Maul?
That was Phantom Menace.
He was a cool bad guy. I always like the bad guys. Like I want the bad guys to be really badass, and he was pretty close.
Those were kind of cheesy. Those episode 1, 2, and 3, I thought were kind of cheesy. Though Revenge of the Sith was kind of cool, you know, because it shows Anakin turning into Darth Vader and stuff. But 1 and 2 episodes, 1 and 2, Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, are so boring and cheesy. I thought, you know, yeah. Got a list of movies going on here. Thanks, guys. So yeah, we're suggesting a bunch of movies over here. Any other movies you could suggest to people out there to check out? Anything you're interested in these days?
I don't know. What's the list of movies you got?
Me? Well, we just went through a couple of them. Joker for sure. I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. And then The Irishman. Yeah, those are the ones I've watched lately. What else have I watched? I've got a couple things in the queue that I need to go and watch, but I haven't had a chance to.
I don't think there's much as comedy goes anymore. I even noticed last night.
That's because everything's so fucking politically correct now.
Yeah.
That's the problem with this. Everybody's so goddamn sensitive that comedies have really, really taken a back seat to a lot of this politically correctness bullshit that's going on in the world.
And the thing is comedy's not politically correct.
Right. It's not supposed to be.
It's the only time you can get away with not being.
Exactly.
But they won't let you do it.
But everybody's so butthurt about every stupid little phrase that comes out of people's mouths nowadays.
I think that.
Don't get me started.
I was watching the Golden Globes yesterday, and then they had like a category for best musical / comedy, and I was like, so wait a minute, comedy's not a thing anymore. Now it's musical / comedy, and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood won that category, and I was like, I saw that movie, and I don't know if it was a comedy. It definitely wasn't a musical, but I don't think it was a comedy either. So I think they just wanted to give Quentin Tarantino an award. But yeah, I haven't really seen any comedies that I thought were funny. I mean, there's one, they keep showing Tommy Boy on TV every now and then. Yeah. And that movie's hilarious, but there's not anything funny anymore.
It really isn't.
That's why, all there is these stand-up specials. They had Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live recently. That was hilarious.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was really, really good. Now, you see, Coming to America's doing a sequel. It's like 30 years after the fact. Yeah, that better be well done.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that 30 years after the fact?
There's that. I saw a Ghostbusters trailer, too. I don't know what's up with that. Like, they did the one with the all-female cast, and now they're probably going to try to do another one. It looks like they're going to be kids, like the descendants of the original Ghostbusters. I don't know.
I can't get into it. I can't. I feel like Hollywood has lost its creative value lately. Mm-hmm. One, because of the politically correct bullshit that's going on. Two, there's no more creativity anymore, and everything has become a comic book.
Well, it's hard to be creative when everyone is stuck on their devices all the time.
True.
There's like, there's like an old alchemy where it's like you have Salve and Coagula, and Salve is like this, you're taking it in. It's like you're building, and then it's like Coagula is like, you have to break everything, and then, I just screwed that up. Don't listen to what I just said. So Salve is like people are watching things, and they're just like consuming information, consuming. It's almost like they're breaking things down, and they're trying to understand everything, but nobody's putting anything new together. And the people that are able to are fucking billionaires, because these people understand that it's just like, look, everybody is being hypnotized by all this crap. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we can just create stuff, and it doesn't even have to be that good. People will buy it. It's
seriously. Like, look at all these YouTube stars that are out there making millions of dollars from opening up presents.
They're just
where's the creativity in that?
Yeah, they're just making stuff.
And
then people are just like, I can't even open a present. I just want to watch someone else open, a package from Amazon up. There's just a lot of, that's the difference, is you have most of the people don't want to do anything. And then you have the people that do want to do something. It isn't that great. I think like the biggest earner on YouTube right now is like an 8-year-old or something.
8-year-old kid.
He's an 8-year-old kid, and he's making these videos. Everybody wants to watch them.
Doing toy reviews.
He's doing toy reviews?
Yeah.
Wow.
Toy reviews and opening presents are like the big thing.
He's opening presents.
Right. That's it. It's amazing to me. Like, for instance, too, you see that video of Rainbow that it went around?
No.
Okay, so Rainbow got on stage with Mo this past week.
Right? Oh yeah, I got that recorded.
You got it recorded?
Yeah.
Well, somebody clipped it and put it on YouTube. It got like 5,000 views.
Oh really? We have a really good recording of that.
Dude, well, put it up. It'll get 5,000 views.
Yeah.
Somebody put it up, clipped it up really quick, and it goes up. And like things like that. Not saying that,
Really.
Stupid things like that. That's what
man.
catches people's interest. It's amazing to me.
That's the thing is like you just have to like that's why I don't know, maybe that's why I'm working so much because everybody wants to do something but they don't actually want to do it. And so they just like hire me to do it for them.
Maybe if you dumb it down a little bit, it'll explode. But when you try to put so much of this creativity into it and try to put the sprinkles on top, put the Matt Ossowski stamp of approval on top of it, instead of doing all that, going all out like you normally do, dumbify it down, and it's probably going to make millions.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
people want dumb things now.
I think it was, it's Stanley Kubrick said, just take a camera and just start making stuff. Just start shooting movies or something. And I have ideas for movies. I just been so consumed that I, haven't had time to make them. And it's like, I'm going to be 40 soon, and it's like I got to get this stuff going because I have ideas in my head. They got to be out there on the screen.
I can only imagine what the hell comes out of what comes out of you when you produce a film.
Yeah, I got
be a lot of blood and guts, right?
Yeah, but I have some other ideas too. Like I've been playing golf a lot the past few years, and like I see the people that go to the local golf courses around here, and I almost have like a Big Lebowski, in the golf world that I want to make.
Playing as a fivesome, right? The guys that play, they're on five guys on one hole.
It's about a guy who got 3 hole-in-ones, and it's kind of interesting how he was able to get that. He's got like the newspaper article up on the board in the pro shop and stuff like that. And there's like this other guy that's all he wants in life is to get 1 hole-in-one, and then, I can't give away the idea, but it's funny, but it's also extremely dark because, why wouldn't it be?
Right, because it's you. It's you, man. Well, we ripped through an hour and 5 minutes already just sitting here talking about nothing.
Wow.
See how quick it goes sometimes.
I was like wondering how long this was going to take.
It keeps going and going and going. How could people find you online if they're interested in maybe doing a video with you or some photography or any of that type of stuff?
Oh, I got a website's MohawkValleyPictures.com. I called it Mohawk Valley Pictures because a lot of production companies out there like have their companies named after their hometown, like Castle Rock Entertainment and all the. There are a few other ones they don't come to mind right now, but I was like, what do I call this thing? Mohawk Valley Pictures. Okay, that'll work. And then I just took it.
Simple and easy.
The business was originally started as a film company, and I was picking up work, doing commercial work, which is great because I'm able to make some money to buy equipment, which will help make movies in the future. The only thing is, we just need actors. So I just shot a movie a couple months ago for this girl, Lisa Barron, produced it. It's called The Donut Chase. It's like a short movie, and it was one of those gigs. I actually put money into it because I wanted to make this movie happen. It's about these 2 cops, and they have these CIA guys after them to get their donuts. And it's a comedy, and I was actually because I work all the time, I'm just like, I'm not looking forward to doing this. And my sound guy Elliot was like, we weren't getting paid for it. In fact, I was spending money on it. And actually that 3 days that we shot the movie was probably the best I've felt, working in a long time. Cause I was like, it's awesome to work with real actors because they know their lines, and it's like, you tell them, it's like, okay, now say it this way. Now say it feeling this. Now, and these people are awesome. It's just like, you just see how these professionals work. So I'd love to bring some actors up here and get to work on some stuff.
I feel like the well, not just the art community, but like the filmmaking community in Utica is starting to pick up a little bit too. Like not even just Utica, but Syracuse as well. Like there's starting to be some films being filmed in Syracuse and in Utica, and some good things are happening.
Yeah, there's I would say that there's more work happening. I don't know about the quality of the films, but I know that there's definitely work happening because there's a tax credit program in New York. It's like 40% if you shoot most of your film in New York State.
Oh, wow.
Plus, Syracuse has a sound stage, so I think part of the stipulation is you have to use part of your budget for using a New York State certified sound stage. So a lot of people are shooting movies in New York because, now through, I think, 2022, if you shoot your movie in New York, you get 40% of your money back after the production if you can show that it's all done in New York State.
That's some great incentive.
It's a good incentive. I mean, in Canada, it's 50%, but,
still,
New York State it's a pretty good state. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of good locations here.
Oh, yeah. And the architecture is cool, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of good architecture. I mean, you have New York City. You have, there's all the Rust Belt cities. There's all the natural stuff. There's snow up north. I mean, I just started getting into the Adirondacks this year because I was going out to Arches, Nash of the Grand Canyon, and all this stuff, seeing this huge stuff, and I didn't even know the Adirondacks have a lot, right up north. That I was like, wow, I didn't know. We have some serious mountains here that they're kind of difficult to climb.
Yeah. You want to become a 46er? Are you looking to do that?
Oh yeah, is that the people that climb all the
46 peaks?
46 peaks
in the Adirondacks. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll get going on that.
Have you started on any?
I've only done Bald Mountain.
Bald Mountain, yeah, same here. That's the only one. One down, 45 to go.
I think there's another one. It's called Rocky Mountain. It's even smaller than Bald Mountain. Mm-hmm. It's probably a half-mile hike or something. But yeah, I don't know. I wanted to see. I saw I follow a couple Adirondack Facebook pages, and I see they got a lot of snow up there, right now. I think in October or November, I was seeing the top of Mount Marcy was just covered in snow. I was like, wow.
Yeah, the higher elevations definitely got some snow. I was surprised to wake up this morning to find a couple inches on the ground.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it's all gone now, but it was there
earlier.
All
gone now.
Yeah. Well, Matt, thanks so much for hanging with me. We got to do this again because I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface. You and I could probably get talking for 3 more days if we wanted to. But we got another show coming up in a little bit. Sauced. We're eating a bunch of hot sauce in a little bit.
You're eating hot sauce?
Oh, my God. I'm not ready for it.
Maybe it'll fix your cold or something.
I'm hoping I could sweat out the cold that I'm going through right now.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Then your stomach will be killing.
Are you into hot sauce at all?
I used to be, but now it's I can't handle it going out.
Have you ever tried any of the Scoville units? Have you ever messed around with any of that?
Yeah, I think the hottest one I ever I actually ate one of those ghost peppers one time.
Did you?
And it was it's not even enjoyable.
It's not. It's not. Later, coming up in just a little bit, too, sauce comes up around 6 o'clock. Heath Marshall joining me, and also Seth from the Old Main is going to sit in on this one, and we're going to eat a bunch of hot sauce. He's got The Last Dabs. You ever hear that one? It's from Hot Ones.
Oh.
Really hot. And then there's a bunch of stuff. So we tried this stuff. It's $5 million on the Scoville units. I tell this story a lot.
Yeah.
So at the Pepper Palace in Syracuse, you go in and you do this hot sauce challenge. And if you eat this challenge or whatever, they give you a free bottle or whatever. So this one guy comes in one day and he eats one of the hot sauces. He has a seizure right there in the store. The hot sauce triggered the seizure, but it also triggered a cancer tumor that caused the seizure.
Wow.
So it actually saved his life in retrospect, if you look at it that way.
That's pretty crazy.
He had a seizure. They called the ambulance. They got him there right away, found out he had a cancer tumor. And, yeah, so it actually the hot sauce detected the cancer tumor. Is that crazy or what?
That's like an episode of Dr. House right there. That's
unreal.
There was, I remember Paulie Diamond over at the barbershop.
Yeah.
They were doing that. They did that hot pepper challenge, and he wanted me to film it. And I remember Paulie ate one of the peppers, and he was dying. He actually fell on the floor, and acted unconscious. We all freaked out. We thought he had a heart attack. He was like, I got you guys.
You know what? I should call Paulie and have him come do one of these challenges with us one of these days.
Yeah.
Awesome. Candlelit going out. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody, for chiming in today. Pat, Pam, and Max and Susan and everybody that was chiming in. You can listen to this podcast and previous podcasts of EC Radio and all the content we have here on the D at DisruptionNetwork.net. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, all the social media stuff that's warping our brains. It is. It really is. It's made us mindless, like you said earlier.
I like the face-to-face conversations,
Me too.
Like that. They used to do that a long time ago, and then everything went nuts, and now we're starting to get back into it.
I hope so, though. I would rather see people talk face-to-face than over text, because then when you text people back and forth, you can misconstrue of what they're saying, and you don't get the inflections of what they're trying to get across.
Oh, yeah.
So you can really, really misinterpret text messages.
Should have enemies talk face-to-face.
Right, exactly. That's the way.
Then they'll probably get along.
That's a problem with this world and this country today. Is like no compromise, no face-to-face talks anymore. It's just everything's over tweets and text messages and stuff. So,
yep.
Sad state of affairs that we're living in. But, we will rise above. We will rise above. But thank you to my sponsors, too. Thank you so much to the Utica Hemp Company. If you're living in pain, check out CBD. Visit their 4 locations or check them out online at uticahempco.com. Also, much love to EJA Moving Services, the professional movers. When you're ready to move and relocate, hit up Eddie and his crew. Let him do all the work instead of you doing all the work at ejamoving.com. And also, our 3-year anniversary party is coming up at the Jewish Community Center, the JCC. We're going to play some hoops, and we're going to listen to some music. It's going on February 8th. And we're doing Haley in the Water, Annie in the Water with Haley Jane, and they're getting together to do a performance of Fleetwood Mac's Rumors album. They're doing the whole album front to back, plus Trampoline Judge Stream, live Noah. It's going to be a great time. Celebrating 3 years of the D, February 8th, Jewish Community Center, 2310 Oneida Street in Utica. Come on down. Plenty of tickets still available. You could go to our website at DisruptionNetwork.net for more information and to purchase tickets. So it's going to be a good time. February 8th. Can't wait to celebrate with everybody. Can't believe I've been doing this 3 years. It goes by so fast. Doesn't the time just fly by?
Yeah.
How does that happen? It just flies by. As soon as you know it, your kid's going to be like 16. You're going to be giving them keys to the car.
I know, right?
It's going to happen fast.
I'm buying them gold bars now because I know that time's going to fly.
Yeah. No, seriously. And that's the way to do it, too. Give them some precious metals instead of like currency. Gold bars for real.
Give him some. He doesn't have money. He weighs his money.
He weighs his money. Does he really? Nice, man. Well, congratulations on the newborn and everything that you're doing, Matt. And yeah, let's do this again really soon.
Cool, man.
We need to do this again. So Thank you so much. And tomorrow, I don't know what's going on tomorrow, but I'll be here. And then we got Sauce coming up, and then also Unstoppable You tonight with Heather. Heather is podcasting live from Puerto Rico tonight. Or Mexico. No, she's in Puerto Rico. She's in Puerto Rico tonight, so she's going to be doing that live from there. So
nice.
She's in paradise, and we're freezing our butts off, but that's okay. Heather's doing some great things.
Cool, man.
Good stuff. Thank you so much. We'll see you later. Bye.
EC Radio.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar brought to you by the Events Co. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.